right, all right. Let's check it out.
It's been nearly a decade since the release of Mad Max Fury Road, and even though it was well received by some, a lot of other people felt, man, there's a lot of focus on Furiosa in this movie and not as much about Mad Max. Well, a decade later, in 2024, they decided to just go all out, not even pretend that a movie is going to be about Mad Max and just center it on Furiosa. Furiosa, a Mad Max story. And you would think that after all this time, Hollywood may have learned their lesson, but unfortunately, they did not. Despite the fact that the mainstream media was so excited that Furiosa was getting her own standalone movie. Furiosa's hard-won feminism. The iconic character could have gone terribly wrong. Here's how she survived. Well, if this isn't terribly wrong, I don't exactly know what is, because Furiosa right now is flopping incredibly hard. Over Memorial Day weekend, one of the biggest weekends for movie releases traditionally, and it's bombing. Not just bombing, but historically so. Furiosa and Garfield, yes, the Garfield movie that virtually no one even knew was coming out on Memorial Day weekend, is virtually neck and neck with Furiosa over
I believe a lot of this has to do with marketing, advertisement. I barely seen Furiosa. It just came in as a snap. Oh, come see this. And I didn't really care to see it. I mean, it looks cool. I don't know. It would be cool to see Mel Gibson, but no. He's maybe for nostalgic purposes, I suppose, but and people eat that shit up. But I don't know if it has to do with everything that he's talking about, but let's get into it a little further.
Memorial Day, and whichever one officially does win, it's going to be the worst Memorial Day opening we've seen in 3 decades. Furiosa and Garfield lead lowest Memorial Day box office in decades. Movie theaters are looking more and more like a wasteland this summer. Neither Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, nor the Garfield movie could save Memorial Day weekend, which is cruising towards a 2-decade low. Well, you say 2-decade, you really mean 3, because it's the lowest in 29 years, almost 30 years. And that's not even adjusted for inflation. Furiosa, the Mad Max prequel starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, claimed the first place spot for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday weekend with $25 million. Warner Brothers wait until Monday to release its 4-day estimates, which is today. The Garfield movie, animated and family-friendly, was the other big new offering. It's claiming #1 over the 4-day holiday weekend with an estimated $32 million. Aside from Memorial Day in 2020, when theaters were closed, these are the lowest earnings for #1 movie over this weekend in 29 years since Casper earned.
That's funny, but honestly, I think people have a different agenda since COVID. They got a different idea of movies, and just wait a couple weeks and stream it. Like, it's not. I don't know. People don't. I feel like people don't go to the movie theater. I personally don't like going out ever, but. I mean, I do sometimes, occasionally, but I honestly don't really care to go out and deal with things. But I believe a change in what people normally do. After COVID, people were excited to get out. Oh, got to get out, got to go do things. And then after a while, it settled down. And I believe a lot of people would rather just stay home. It's like telling somebody they can't get something, and then later on, they're gonna break those rules. If you tell somebody not to do something, they're gonna want to do it.
$22.5 million, not adjusted for inflation, in 1995. Guess what you adjust that for inflation? And that is well above these movies that are currently out this weekend. Garfield battles Furiosa at Memorial Day weekend box office with $32 million debut. Now, the people that did give this a chance, I've heard mixed things. I've heard some good things. I've heard some bad things. But the truth is, when it comes to Hollywood, especially when it comes to these girl boss movies, People are not even going to give it a chance at this point, especially not a character who's set in a world where, you know who people want to fucking see? They want a Mad Max story. They want a Mad Max movie. Crazy that a Mad Max franchise, people want that fucking character to be present. What do you think over Memorial Day weekend that if they brought Mel Gibson back to do an old Mad Max movie, what do you think that would have done? Probably a whole of a hell lot better than.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been pretty cool to it would have been very nostalgic, but that's just that's just like all Star Wars movies. I believe I don't know. Nostalgia sells, man. It sells. Look at X-Men 97, which I watched. It was pretty good. Yeah. Nostalgia sells. Gets people in. They want to show their kids. They want to show, well, I wouldn't be showing my kids this movie, but you get what I'm saying.
What Furiosa has just made in worldwide, it's not any better. Furiosa opening action muted with $59 million global debut. Why didn't it strong arm the marketplace? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because, as we've stated time and time again over the last 5 years, woke Hollywood is dying. People are no longer going to give movies like this a chance because they've been burned too many times to count. They're tired of it. They have better things to do. People are not going to give Hollywood the same benefit of the doubt that they gave them for years and years and years. And they're all out of excuses. They can't say, oh, COVID is keeping people away. They tried to use that for 4 years. You can't say that anymore. If there is something that people get excited about, they're gonna be willing to go out and give it a chance. That is true. We've seen that.
Okay, woke Hollywood and that topic. I don't necessarily think it's wrong to have a woman protagonist. I don't really. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it's pretty cool. It doesn't, and Mad Max doesn't have to be generally just a man. It could be anybody surviving an apocalyptic dystopian environment, well, society, or whatever you would like to call it, world. It doesn't have to be a man. It doesn't really matter. I don't know. I don't know necessarily think it's possibly woke Hollywood and all that bullshit, I suppose, but it doesn't have to be. I just think they were feeding off of what they did before, and that's where they were going with it. I did like the other film to see the other actor. I mean, I liked it. It was a balance of both. I thought they both did well. The film before, I thought it was great performances from both the male and the female role. Now all female is fine. Doesn't really bother me. So
You can still have billion-dollar movies. We had a few last year. You can still have massive successes. But when people feel it's going to be a feminist agenda, it's going to be another girl boss movies that they roll their eyes at, they're not going to watch. And simply the idea, like, think of what Mad Max Fury Road did 10 years ago. Even though some people enjoyed the movie, a lot of people complained that, wow, it seems like it's supposed to be a Mad Max movie, a lot of focus on Furiosa. That movie underperformed significantly. $370 million worldwide on a $150 million budget. Now, back when they actually sold DVDs, you could justify maybe there's a chance it might have crawled to break even. But Furiosa has a $170 million budget. This is a movie that, in all likelihood, needs to scrape around $500 million at the global box office just to break even. Why would you do that? Why would you set yourself up like that when people didn't even show up when they thought it was going to be about Mad Max? They know this one's not going to be about Mad Max. They know it's going to be completely focused on Furiosa, and people are not showing up.
Yeah, I think that's the point. People don't really care about Furiosa. They care about Mad Max. They built that franchise on. Yeah, now I can see the point. They built that franchise on a male character, and they want to see that again. That protagonist shouldn't have changed, but the whole world of Mad Max is ever changing. Like, it doesn't have to be the same. It's they don't have like a timeline. Like, there's no set rules. It's kind of sandboxy. The way I feel the films were designed. It was just sandboxy. You could do whatever you kind of like, and there's no set storyline or anything. Yeah, and with, I don't know, at least with the other films, I might be wrong. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, concentrating on the one figure, I think that's where they damaged themselves, because it's supposed to be the protagonist. Well, see, it doesn't. I don't know. Necessarily doesn't have to change, but I don't know. I'm feeling neutral on this. I don't know where or what to expect, but I guarantee it's probably not going to make what they wanted.
We don't have the official Monday numbers as I record this video now. We might in a couple hours, but it's not going to change much. Both these movies are probably going to make somewhere around $32 million over a holiday weekend. So that's including the Monday. If you just look at a normal opening weekend, so the Thursday night openings and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, look at this shit. $25 million for Furiosa, and Garfield right behind it with $25 million. The good news for Garfield is that Garfield only cost $60 million to make, like a $50-60 million budget. So it can survive something like this. This is not a bad opening for
Garfield says 24, unless you round up. Then you'd have to do 25, and you would also have to round up with Furiosa, 26. But whatever, I see your point.
something like Garfield, because they didn't pour that kind of money into it. But when it comes to Furiosa, it's just another indication that woke Hollywood is fucking dead. And a lot of people in the industry have not wanted to admit it, but this is pathetically bad. The worst opening in 30 years on Memorial Day weekend belongs to Furiosa. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Heck yeah. I like this point of view. That's possibly it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm pretty much neutral on this subject, mainly because I don't think the protagonist matters as much, but I sure know that they design the films around a male figure. So if you change the protagonist, people are gonna be a little upset. I don't necessarily think it's this. It might be feminist, woke feminism or whatever. I don't know. But it is what it is. When will Hollywood realize that woke movies suck? Are they that stupid? I like the comment. If you would put a girl boss front and center, we know the story. It's not for you. If terms are acceptable, hope all ladies don't let no one wants woke. Yeah, the problem with comments like this is these are all geared towards this man's point of view. F Hollywood hard. I believe Hollywood is getting it's changing big time. Not the same thing as it was. It's getting destroyed.